Welcome back. The International Court of Justice says Israel must allow basic aid to be delivered to the people in Gaza. Israel has accused the United Nations main aid agency in the region of being infiltrated by Hamas, claims the organisation denies, and indeed the court found baseless. Today's ruling is non-binding, but will put further pressure on Israel to lift its restrictions. I got reaction to the ruling from Shosh Bedrosian, a spokesperson from the Israeli government, and started by asking her what she makes of the verdict.
This was something that was predictable. This was bound to happen. The biggest disappointment, of course, for us is that UNRWA was not called out for working with Hamas terror operatives, specifically on October 7th, and having a hand-in-hand relationship between UNRWA and Hamas itself. We have specific stories of UNRWA employees who infiltrated on October 7th into Israel. Specifically, one story comes to mind, and it was all caught on camera, which was one of our hostages' bodies was kidnapped by an UNRWA employee outside of Kibbutz Be'eri. It was all caught on surveillance video. So the fact that this ruling does not talk about the role that Hamas has inside of the UNRWA spot here, it's disappointing for us to see something like this.
To the ruling, basically what it says is that Israel is obliged to facilitate the delivery of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip by the United Nations and its entities to ensure the basic needs of the Palestinian civilian population are met. Do you agree with that part of the ruling?
Well, Israel is doing that, and Israel follows its policies, and that's actually what's taking place now. Aid is going into the Gaza Strip as usual. This is a part of this 20-point plan that President Trump helped Prime Minister Netanyahu put in place to ensure that aid does go into the Gaza Strip, and it's getting to the areas that are critically needing this type of aid, and that nothing is stopping it from getting there, ensuring that Hamas is not stopping the aid and taking control of it, making sure it's reaching the population that need it the most. So the policy of getting aid into Israel is always critical for Israel.
But the point is enough aid getting into the Gaza Strip? Dr. Tedros from the World Health Organization is quoted as saying that really there should be 600 trucks a day going into the Gaza Strip, and it's nowhere near that. Possibly at maximum 200 are getting in. So it's less than half of what should be the optimum amount to get aid to the people that need it.
Sure. Well, I'm hearing that the numbers are actually up to where they should be, and that the aid is continuing to go into crossings like Kerem Shalom. And there's even possible options, I believe, of more crossings opening in the near future as well.
But so do you know how many trucks are getting in on a daily basis now?
I don't have the exact number, and if you would like that number, you can reach out to Kogat, which is working to make sure trucks do go into the Gaza Strip. And like I said, make sure it gets to the right hands, to the people who need it the most inside of Gaza.
The ruling today, doesn't it simply underscore Israel's their obligation, if you like, to meet international law, to make sure that aid is getting in?
Well, I think it actually underrules the court itself for not talking about the role that UNRWA had on October 7th. We have to remember October 7th is a day that it literally lives in our souls here in Israel. It's a day that is so tragic, the massacre that took place, and to know that UNRWA employees, at least 11 of them, participated on October 7th. We even had hostages that were released saying they were held in locations of where UNRWA was operating, also seeing hostages reported seeing boxes of UNRWA food inside of their homes. And so when you hear these stories, you wonder why the ruling didn't also bring up the fact that UNRWA had a role on October 7th and its employees work hand in hand with Hamas. It needs to be said, it needs to be understood, it needs to be remembered what we went through on October 7th and why this needs to be recognized.
But UNRWA was investigated by the UN, and 9 of their operatives were found to have had links to Hamas of 13,000 employees.
Okay, I'm glad that they were investigated, but that needs to be continuously upheld. That there were people that participated on October 7th, and this is something that Israel is expecting a court to say and to be known, especially in situations like this.
But the UN is saying now that UNRWA is under extreme investigation and scrutiny like never before. So this can never happen again, and it has been dealt with. Is that a reason to disregard UNRWA's role in any future aid giving?
Well, the United Nations has been against Israel for an extremely long time. Prime Minister Netanyahu was just there at the United Nations General Assembly, standing up when countries and diplomats decided to walk out and not hear what the Prime Minister had to say. He stood up and he talked about the achievements that Israel needed to do in order to get to the place where we are now, which is an incredible moment that everyone needs to realize. There is a ceasefire that is in place at this point in time. With the help from President Trump, diplomatically, from Prime Minister Netanyahu's efforts militarily, this is where we are. So the United Nations...
Sorry to interrupt, we are running out of time. It is a very hopeful moment, but part of that peace agreement with Donald Trump was to allow full aid into the Gaza Strip, and that's simply not happening. It's being restricted at the moment, isn't it?
Well, I would like to pose the question to you. Where are our 13 deceased hostages and why have they not come out yet? That is the question I'd like to pose under this 20-point plan. There was a commitment made by Hamas that they would release all 48 of our hostages. 20 of our living hostages have come out so far. We are waiting for 13 deceased hostages to be released. Where are they? It has been 9 days.
Do you acknowledge that Hamas has asked for help to retrieve those deceased, that Gaza is now a demolition site, that many of those deceased will be under rubble? Perhaps some of the people that are responsible for their killings, they are no longer alive and don't know where the bodies are. People don't know where they are. Do you accept that Hamas is wanting to retrieve these deceased?
I don't accept anything Hamas is. It's a terror organization, and no journalist should accept anything that they have to say. They have been holding hostages. They are holding their own people hostage. They are a terror organization that is executing their own people in the center of streets inside of Gaza. It is something we are watching very closely here in Israel. Can you imagine those videos that are coming out of men being blindfolded with their arms bound behind their back, getting executed in the streets inside of Gaza for refusing to support Hamas, a terror organization who has inflicted immense pain on the Palestinian people? So when it comes
just one
to
final
Hamas,
question, because we are running out of time. Do you think that it's right to withhold aid from the people in Gaza because the bodies of deceased haven't been returned as yet?
Israel is following the policy and making sure aid is going into the Gaza Strip.
You're not restricting aid going into the Gaza Strip.
We have aid going into the Gaza Strip as per usual and as per this agreement. Like I said before, we are upholding this framework. We are expecting the other side to do the same.